Doing all right. Look, we came through the weigh-in. It's been a long couple of weeks, and fights coming off. We got the weigh-in done. It's good. It's good stuff.
From a promoter's perspective, how difficult is it to deal with a situation that you had to deal with last week when Callum Johnson tested positive for COVID-19?
It's very difficult. I mean, these are the tough parts of the sport. It's always difficult before COVID. I mean, you always had things where a guy could fall out. We're not in the business of, crocheting. There's a boxing business. Guys get hurt in the gym. Things like that happen. They get tested for MRIs, EKGs, CAT scans, all that stuff. You never know what's going to pop up on a blood test. But with COVID now, that's thrown like a whole nother wrinkle to it. And it's a difficult process.
Talk about both the advantages and disadvantages of picking a last-minute opponent. Obviously, recently, we saw Andy Ruiz shock the world. But what are the advantages and disadvantages of picking a new opponent a week and a half before the fight?
Certainly there's a lot of disadvantages. Number one, like you mentioned, Andy Ruiz. I mean, if you look at Manny Pacquiao, he came on the scene. Originally, he was a villain. And all of a sudden, look, it was Manny Pacquiao. And by the way, just recently, his career basically went the opposite way with a last-minute replacement. It's difficult. You're training for a different kind of guy. You're getting your mind set for somebody else, and all of a sudden you're fighting a whole different type of style, a whole different type of person. It's difficult from a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint. Very, very difficult. A lot of disadvantages. A lot of things to be concerned about, especially when you don't know much about that particular fighter and you're training for something else. Joe's got a big mountain to climb, in my view, because of the new style, new fighter, and you got in Steve, you have a young, hungry, and I mean young in the game, fresh, who was a top amateur, and he's got a lot of experience, experience in the ring and things like that. Those are the disadvantages. The advantage, I give you one glaring, massive advantage, and that is you get to get in that ring. And for Joe, he wants to be in that ring. It didn't matter who it was going to be, and frankly, that's his advantage, is that he's fighting for defending his title, which is what his real desire has been.
Talk about what would be next for Joe. Callum obviously had to pull out the fight. Would that be a fight that you would be looking to do later this year, possibly early next year?
Look, I mean, Callum's certainly out there as a potential opponent down the line, but Joe is looking for the biggest fights. He really wants Beterbiev. That's the fight he really wants. Everybody wants Canelo, obviously. Who couldn't? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want him too. I might have to lose a couple more pounds though. But so Canelo's the big sweepstakes. Everybody wants that. But barring Canelo, Beterbiev, Joe likes to pronounce it a different way than I do. But he's the boogeyman. Right. And Joe wants to fight that kind of fight. And I think it'd be a great matchup stylistically. I love the fight for Joe. I mean, truthfully, I'm more comfortable making that fight than something like I have to do tomorrow night with a guy who's going to be, coming in there with nothing to lose. Steve's really coming in with nothing to lose. But the Beterbiev fight, to me, is the fight that we'd be looking for.
Why is the Beterbiev fight a fight that you think Joe could win?
I love the style. I think that Beterbiev is, it takes him some rounds to warm up. And Joe starts quick. And Joe's a big banger. He gets hit, Beterbiev. If he gets hit by Joe with the shots that he has been hit with, I don't see him getting up. I've seen him down in the Callum fight. I think if Joe tags him, he's going to be out. I think also the flip side is he's a great fighter. And he's got tremendous skill. And because of his skill and reputation and his knockouts, every fight is a knockout win, you're beating somebody that the world looks at as being a killer. Right. And those are the fights you want. You want to be able to fight those fights where people don't expect you to win. So that's why I like the Beterbiev fight.
Talk about, we're both New York guys, talk about what else is happening with DeGuardia promotion.
Look, we're working regular. It's been tough with COVID, but we're still operating. We're fortunate that we have the Paramount series, and we do a regular shows there. We did 2 in the fall. The next one down there is March 18th at the Paramount. We have February 26th, a new series we're going to be starting at St. John's University, Lou Conaseca Arena. April 9th, we got a new casino we're going to be announcing that we did a deal with for multiple fights. So we expect to have a busy 2022 in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, New York. So we're looking for a very, very busy and big 2022.
Okay. We look forward to covering those events.
Looking forward to it as well. And Seconds Out, always been there for a long, long time. Good stuff.